Amen. Thank you, sir. We move now to the adoption of the agenda. Do I have any corrections? If not, do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I got a request to speak.
Yes, sir.
On item 12, unfinished business, I'd like to talk about park water fountains.
Madam Chair.
Is that it, Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Okay, we'll call that 12A. And Ms. Benson?
Under board communications, I'd like to speak on the issue of foiling.
Pardon me?
Foiling.
Foiling on 14A. And on 14B, I will add employee kudos and personal communication. Can I get a motion for the agenda as amended? It's Vicki, move, pardon me? Yeah, it's coming. It's moved by Ms. Benson, second by Mr. Stevens. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. We move now to item 4, public hearings. There are none. So we will move to item 5, open forum. And I have one pink slip from Mr. Stan McDaniels. Would you please come to the podium? There's a button on the right you can push to speak. State your name and address and your issue to discuss.
Stan McDaniels, 4511 Charmont Way. The issue I'd like to discuss is fluoride. Once again, I'm Stan McDaniels, and as soon as the special election is announced, I will be running for U.S. Congress here in Florida District 1. I'd like to notify you guys about a federal ruling by Judge Chin. He found that fluoride at the current recommended levels in U.S. drinking water of 0.7 milligrams per liter poses an unreasonable risk to children's health, particularly in terms of reduced IQ. So he evidenced that with, based on scientific literature reviewed during his trial, providing a high level of certainty about the presence of a hazardous related fluoride exposure. This is not the first time that I've brought up this particular issue, but thankfully the lies that have been spread about fluoride for so many years are finally being exposed. It's time for the Escambia County Utility Authority to put this on the agenda and get the fluoride out of our drinking water. Even with, you know, some of the mass-produced filtering systems that people can put on their home, fluoride still has to go through some type of secondary filter to be able to be removed from the water. Our Constitution was written to protect the smallest minority, and that is the individual. And fluoride has been damaging our whole community. I ask that you put this on the agenda to remove fluoride from our drinking water. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any comments from the board? If not, appreciate you coming. We move now to presentations, and we have the Recycle Star. Mr. Williams, would you please pull a winner for us for the Recycle Star?
And the winner is number 7.
And the winner is Justin and Lee Freeman. And we'd like to thank Justin and Lee for being Recycle Stars. They will get kudos from the staff. They will get a sign for their yard, and we just really appreciate everyone that recycles and recycles right. Other names on this list that did not win this time but are great recyclers are Mark Kevin Goldenhagen, Sylvia Barragan, Chris Beck, Christian Cruz Quinones, Joseph Danton, Elisa Calvarez, Joyce Sweeney, Leslie Donovan, and Alyssa Mears. Thank you all for recycling. We move now to the approval of the minutes for the October 22nd, 2024.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
just a quick refresher on how do we determine those list of
Recycle
Gold Star
Stars.
recyclers?
Mr. Woody.
We're now going through a process where once a month, we have a staff member, often Sigrid Raring, our communications and education specialist, will ride a route. We choose different route locations across the service area each month and do a random sampling and choose from those good examples that we find. We place them on the list.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you know, the sheriff does this wheel of shame thing. Do you think we could do that with people who... No, never mind, never mind.
I don't know.
That's funny. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Williams. We move now to approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting on October 22nd of 2024. Do I have a motion? Move by Ms. Benson and seconded by Mr. Perkins. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. We move now to our consent agenda, and I'm going to go through each one with comments from Mr. Woody. If you'd like to hold one along the way, please let me know. Item A is adoption of General Resolution GR 24-123, a purchase of construction services for Phase 1 of the Northeast Force Main Replacement Project. Mr. Woody.
If you look at page 22 on your agenda, there is a map showing the location for this project. You may remember that at our prior board meeting, the board approved the purchase of materials for Northeast Force Main Replacement Project. We purchased that separate so we could accelerate the speed with which this project is deployed. This resolution that's before you is for construction services. It was done as an emergency, but we did select quotes from 3 local contractors who we know are capable of this scope of work, and the low bidder among those 3 was Utility Services Company at the price quoted in the easement, or in the resolution. The relocation, or not the relocation, the replacement work that's being done is an existing force main that runs along Old Spanish Trail Road, south of Olive Road, down to an existing lift station. And from there, we're installing a new pipe in the easement that we have from GE to take it over to Scenic Highway. There will be future phases as we continue to replace this older pipe that's getting near the end of its useful life. Not only we will be replacing it, but we'll also be making it more convenient for our maintenance staff by relocating it out of the backyards of homes as it was constructed in the 50s and placing it back in public rights-of-way where it's more accessible for routine maintenance.
Thank you, Mr. Woody. I have no speakers. We move now to item B, adoption of General Resolution GR 24-124, a general resolution authorizing the acceptance of bid and awarding a contract authorizing the executive director to execute a contract with Quality Enterprises USA, Inc. for $1,508,055 to install a redundant force main, capital improvement number CS0009, Perdido Key redundant force main, and authorizing the transfer and use of funds. Mr. Woody.
All of Perdido Key is currently served ultimately by a pump station located Near the intersection of Tranquility Lane and River Road. And the force main from that station is a 14-inch diameter subaqueous force main that is on the west side of the Theobars Bridge. It's buried in the soft alluvium beneath the bridge. But that is the only existing force main. So in our efforts to be more resilient and provide redundancy in places where we have critical infrastructure, we will be constructing a new additional redundant force main along this corridor. We received 4 bids, a very favorable one from Quality Enterprises at $1.5 billion, and look forward to getting this project constructed.
Thank you. I see no speakers. I'm very excited about this project myself. We move now to item C, adoption of General Resolution GR 24-125, a general resolution authorizing the extension of CIP Project R 1705, cured in place pipe sanitary sewer rehabilitation annual contract 2023 with Suncoast Infrastructure Incorporated. Mr. Woody.
The single largest type of projects that we have to improve the removal of inflow and infiltration to our sewer system is through installation of cast in place or cured in place pipe in our sanitary sewers. By doing that, it renews the structural integrity of the sewer, bridges, cracks, gaps, bad joints that can occur in older pipe, which let in water that should not be in the system and robs our system of its capacity. This is a routine extension of an existing contract that was previously awarded to Suncoast Infrastructure. It contains the opportunities for a renewal. This is the first request, and the renewal is a continuation of the original contract prices.
Thank you, sir. We move now to item D, GR 24-126, a general resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a master lease purchase agreement with Flagstar Public Funding Corporation and corresponding escrow agreement to finance the purchase of 5 sanitation trucks from Sampson Equipment Company, authorized by GR 23-126, and authorizing the execution and delivery of other documents required in connection therewith, and providing an effective date. Mr. Woody.
I'll talk a little bit more about the status of our sanitation truck replacement in the director's report. But this particular resolution is for financing the purchase of 5 sanitation trucks. These are all rear loaders, specifically to be used in our yard trash collection. They were part of the vehicle replacements that were approved by the board for 2024. These are only coming early because we were extremely lucky that our vendor contacted us when another customer of theirs had to back out of a purchase of vehicles that were similar to ours, and we were able to step in and take their place in line and obtain these much earlier than other vehicles that we currently have on loan. My thanks to the finance department who secured this finance agreement. It's only for 7 years because our intentions are to cycle these equipment in about that period, 7 to 8 years.
Thank you, sir. We move now, I have no speakers on that, to item E, General Resolution GR 24-127, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute an intercoast sharing agreement with the City of Pensacola for construction of gravity sewer improvements on the city's Barrancas Avenue and B Street projects, authorizing the use of project funds. Mr. Woody.
Whenever we have opportunities with either the city or the county, we'd like to join forces, so to speak, and when they are working in a given corridor, if we have a need to make an improvement, replace a section of pipe, make an extension, whatever the case may be, in that same corridor, there's some mutual savings in the costs of restoring the right-of-way if we work on those projects together. And that benefits both ratepayers as well as taxpayers in the same jurisdiction. This is an opportunity where the city is replacing some storm sewer work, largely along Barrancas Avenue and South B Street. If you look at the map on page 74, there's an illustration of the city's limits of work that's in a dashed line. There are some much shorter sections, not much more than a block or two apiece, that are in a solid black line on South K Street and also over on South B Street near Main Street, where we are replacing some sewer main improvements in that same corridor. Reimbursement to the city, who will be managing the project and overseeing its construction, is $293,000. And again, this project would be much more expensive if we had to do it independently, if not for partnering with the city.
Mr. Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So we are just being tasked with the black lines, and the city will complete the area with the dashed line. So that from, I guess, Garden Street to Gimbel on B will be a city project. Okay. Okay, and I think that runs all the way down to the bay?
The improvements that the city is doing, yes, it runs all the way down to the bay. Most of that tail end is all stormwater-related improvements.
I really wanted to know, how is that to the entrance of our famed Joe Patty right there?
I believe that's further to the east.
No, that's B Street.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right. That's what it looks like.
Maybe that is.
That's right in
I
there.
guess that would be, okay, yeah. Staff's nodding yes as well.
Okay.
Get that correctly.
And what's going to be the impact to the local business?
I can't speak for the city, who's doing the majority of the work. Generally, they're very cognizant of the need to keep driveway access open and coordinate with folks as that work is done, and provide alternative entrances to keep businesses open while work is going on. Yes, it will be convenient. Yes, it will be dusty and dirty, as is the nature of construction, but businesses will remain open in this quarter.
And are they notified about the work?
By the city, yes. It's
By
a
the
it's a
city.
city-led project.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Great questions, Mr. Williams. My office is in that area. We move now to adoption of General Resolution GR 24-128, a general resolution authorizing the acceptance of bid and awarding of a contract, authorizing the executive director to execute a contract with Pensacola Concrete Construction for $2,141,277.82 to replace transite and antiquated water mains, capital improvement number RW0057, Osceola Country Club, water main replacement phase 2, authorizing the transfer and the use of funds. Mr. Woody.
The subdivision of Osceola Country Club Estates is illustrated on a map on page 86 in your agenda. Those locations where we propose to replace water lines are where the dashed lines are located. This is west or south, depending how you want to look at it, of Mobile Highway, just up a little ways from the Walmart in that same area. The existing water mains in the subdivision are antiquated, largely constructed of CA or galvanized water mains. In some sizes are not of the diameter that we would prefer for the fire protection needs. So we're replacing approximately 15,000 linear feet of water main in this district during this project. We had 5 bids, a lot of interest. We're proposing and recommending award to Pensacola Concrete Construction in the amount of $2.1 million.
Thank you, sir. I see no speakers. We move to adoption of General Resolution GR 24-129, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute a sole source purchase order with Pump and Process Equipment, Inc. for the purchase of replacement mixed bed odor absorbing media and providing an effective date. Mr. Woody.
At some of our larger pump stations, specifically Government Street, Moreno, and Pipeline, There's a significant volume of flow that comes through those facilities, some of it from some very outlying locations, so odor control is a special concern at those locations. We've tried many vendors and have had consistent luck and success with a product called Purafil. It's provided by pump and process equipment, so we're recommending that we continue with that product as a sole source, and that we provide the materials to our staff that maintain those equipment so that we can continue to provide good service in those areas.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I actually had a question for the previous general resolution.
Yes, sir.
Tagged it here. Pertaining to the Osceola area, how long is the project going to take?
I would defer to Mr. Hayden. He can tell us how many working days are allowed on this contract.
Seems like a large project, that's what I was asking.
Thank you, sir.
May I respond?
Yes, sir,
Chairman
Mr.
Scott?
Hayden, please.
Actually takes longer to walk up to respond. So, I believe the contract period's for 270 days. I believe that puts it at 9 months. Hopefully, they can work through fairly quickly and get it done sooner rather than later.
Okay, that's not long. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Do I have any questions on 129?
I don't.
I'd like to say, I had this on my 14A, but I'm going to say it now. Kudos to Mr. Piscopo and his team. The first year I came on the board, I had so many calls about the media that we were using in, I think it's South Bay, and then one at the back gate of the Navy base, and I have not had any calls on that. So kudos to you, and kudos to Purafil. I'm glad they are continuing on with us. We move now to adoption of General Resolution GR 24-130, a general resolution authorizing the conceptual approval to abandon a certain existing utility easement located near East 9 Mile Road and Kimstrand Road, and declare the easement no longer useful, necessary, or profitable in the operation of the utility systems of the Emerald Coast Utilities Authority, approving and concurring in the findings of the executive director, declaring the easement to be surplus, and providing an effective date. Mr. Woody.
The easement in question is illustrated in a map on page 96 in your agenda, as was in the descriptions south of East 9 Mile Road and west of Kimstrand Road. It's currently a strip center. I think the largest single tenant is a exercise facility. I forget the ones whose color is purple. I forget what the name of the exercise facility is. But anyway, that facility is going to be raised and be replaced with a Costco. Right now, the location where we have a line is going to be interfering with the proposed redevelopment. It serves no other customers and therefore is unnecessary. So at the request of the developer and at their expense, they will remove that line and will abandon our right-of-way, and that'll be one less piece of line that we'll have to maintain.
Thank you. I see no speakers. I appreciate them paying for that. And we move to adoption of General Resolution GR 24-132, a general resolution authorizing the extension of the maintenance contract with Central Square for SunGuard software support through December of 2025. Mr. Woody.
This is a resolution requesting approval for a standard maintenance agreement for one of our critical softwares. This particular software is the platform that we use for utility billing, customer service information systems. It also has fleet management functions for the ECUA. It's our recommendation that we continue our maintenance contract for FY25.
Thank you, sir. I see no speakers. Do we have anyone that would like to hold an item A through I, any of the items?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Williams?
I'd like to hold General Resolution GR 24-123.
123.
First one.
Thank you. Any others? If not, can I get a motion to move items 8B through I? Moved by Ms. Benson, second by Mr. Perkins. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. We move to item A, adoption of general resolution GR 24-123, purchase of construction services for Phase 1 of the Northeast Force Main Replacement Project. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Phase 1 is going to cover all of Old Spanish Trail, or this is what we're going to cover once the phases are completed?
The subject of this resolution is just the part that's illustrated in black, which is down Spanish Trail Road to the body of water. You see illustrated just north of Baybrook. There, it turns mostly east along the south property line of GE until it reaches Scenic Highway. There will be future phases. Ultimately, those phases will continue south on Scenic Highway down to North Point Parkway, and then we'll follow back west along North Point and down to Wildflower Lane. From there, about 2 blocks west to an intersection that's unnamed on your map, at which point then we'll cross under Interstate I-10 to reach Woodchuck Avenue. We'll follow Woodchuck Avenue back to the east until it intercepts an existing manhole at Spanish Trail.
Okay. Okay, and do you project how long, I mean, that phases 2, 3, 4, and?
2 and 3? Kind of hard to
I
tell.
mean, yeah, not
we'll-
science, but just a rough.
We'll kind of price it out, see how the market is. Probably one thing that'll drive how we divide that up is going to be some of the complexity of that Forerunner Interstate I-10. That may even be its own project all by itself.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion to get this one on the? Lois Benson, and second by Mr. Williams. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. We move now to the budget report. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
All right, good afternoon. We've got the budget report for October 31st, which is only 1 month into the new fiscal year, so there's really not much to report here. You know, fiscal year's just getting started. In the Water and Wastewater Fund, there's a lot of encumbrances for our annual contracts. A lot of them were approved at the last meeting, and then there's some on this meeting, so that number will grow next month. But, you know, 1 month into the year, everything's kind of as we expected. So.
Thank you, Mr.
Any
Smith.
questions?
I have no speakers. Thank you, sir. We move now to the Executive Director's Report. Mr. Woody?
Yeah, I want to touch on 3 things briefly. Sanitation vehicles, earlier in this meeting, we approved, the board approved financing for 5 rear loaders that we'll be using for yard trash trucks. Those were purchased from 24 that got accelerated, or last year, they got accelerated because, again, we were able to step into the shoes of another client and therefore we're able to get them earlier than we otherwise anticipated. Our other trucks that follow the more usual long timeline, We'll have 3 small side loaders that we're expecting in December. Those were ordered in 2022. Those are vehicles that we use in small dead ends, locations where the roads are unimproved or they don't have cul-de-sacs and therefore turning around is difficult. So they're much smaller vehicles. We're seriously in need of getting those replaced and looking forward to those in particular. And then somewhere in January, early February, also from that 2022 order, we will then get a large supply of 19 large side loaders, and we're really looking forward, certainly, to start replacing those. Second topic, in last Friday's board meeting, I briefly mentioned that we're embarking on our strategic planning process. Already, staff has been providing our consultant, Arcadis, with much background information and research information they need to help formulate some of the questionings and the reviews that we'll be doing. Staff has a project kickoff meeting this Friday coming up, and then shortly on the heels of that, then we will begin scheduling key stakeholder interviews. That is interviews not only with staff, but also with board members. So I would anticipate some phone calls to set those up. Those can be done either over the phone or via Teams or Zoom, whatever's convenient for you. Questions probably will take 30 to 45 minutes, perhaps. I did send an early copy of those questions. Let me know if you'd like me to send those again in another email. There will be 2 board of directors, ECUA board member updates. One of those will occur in mid to late January, another one in mid to late March. Our schedule's intention is to complete that work in time for our FY26 budgeting process. And then lastly, just FYI, staff, particularly worked by Natalie Bowers, completed a calendar that we like to hand out to our customers and constituents. Laid one at each of your desks. There are some in the back. If you have meetings you're going to or other opportunities to give those out to constituents, please let us know. We're happy to give you large handfuls of them or boxes of them as needed to get handed out. Again, thank you, Natalie, for putting that together.
That's my boat.
Is that your boat?
Mr. Williams?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So I just want to get the numbers right with the number of trucks that we're getting. You said 5, and then 6 of the smaller ones?
3 of the smaller ones.
3. And are they being packed up right now to be delivered in December, or are we just anticipating they're going to be here in December?
The 5 are already on our lot, and with approval of this financing, then we can get them licensed, and I hope on the street in a few business days.
No, the 3 smaller ones.
The 3 rear loaders should be delivered to us in December.
Yeah, so they are going to be here in December.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cab and chassis are already made. They went to the cab and body already made, sent to the chassis manufacturer, and then they'll come to us from there.
And then you said 19?
19 of the large side loaders due to us in January. I imagine they'll probably send 2 or 3 at a time. They'll probably trickle in over a couple of weeks, regardless of what date they tell us.
Is that like a new fleet?
No.
No?
Not by a long shot.
No? Okay.
For some more details, I'd defer to Tommy if you want to talk about what component of our overall fleet these group of 27 represent.
That should be a good start.
It is. Big challenge is to, in the past, we bought in very large quantities, particularly when we went and started serving Santa Rosa. We bought a tremendous number, like 40-some all at once in 2012, I think. We're trying to get into a cycle where we replace them on an 8-year cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. Through the chair?
Yes, sir, thank you.
So the 19 are side loaders, only side loaders, and we have approximately 65 that go out on a daily basis. We right now only have like 2 spares. And as of the small ones, the small, very small side loader trucks that we have 0 spares right now. So we're desperately needing those.
So that's why you were going, yay.
Yes, especially Gary back there.
Okay. And I guess the last question is what would be, is this the new timeline in which we have to order 3 years in advance to get them when we need them? Or is this how we should be
Yes, sir.
budgeting and planning to do business?
Ever since COVID, everything's really been drawn out. Hopefully that'll change a little bit. Now, one thing that I've mentioned, we have been purchasing some vehicles, not in CNG, but in diesel. I have a presentation coming up on the reasoning, both financial and environmental, behind that. That helps the timeline in the finances, both. That's a whole separate discussion, but it's still lengthy.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Great questions. We move now to the attorney's report. Mr. Pugh.
Nothing to add, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. We move now to unfinished business, and we have Mr. Perkins, 12A Park Water Fountains.
Yeah, we had talked about providing water to just the water fountains at the park. Already there, no infrastructure or anything. And figured that would be pretty non-problematic since we had an issue come through where we did waive impact fees for a good cause for the tiny houses. Staff has tried to move forward on this, and the attorneys have said that that this is a little bit different since it's kind of a recurring thing, and that they're having to work out a way with finance, but they're gonna make it happen, but it's not at this meeting, which when I was hoping to get it done. But I'm bound and determined on it that we're going to get it done, and staff seems to think we are. It's just not at this meeting. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins, and thank you for your determination to get that done. Mrs. Benson.
First of all, I want to thank Mr. Perkins for this. This is such an important thing in terms of service to the community. And I know these things. There we go. I know these things are always more difficult than you would think, but I want to thank Mr. Pugh and our attorney's office for, instead of saying, no, this can't be done, of finding a way to work through this so that we can provide this service. I think this was something that was both on the part of Board Member Perkins and the attorney's office that will continue to be a benefit to all the people who are part of this vibrant community.
And the community is excited about it. You know, Randy Spears did a great job when we went out to the beach and told them why we can't move the beach sewage treatment plant. And even though they all wanted that, they were happy with our presentation and what we told them. But, you know, the commissioner-elect got up there, and the biggest thing she was excited about was the water fountains. And so I know that a lot of people are really looking forward to that. And, you know, from the city to the beach to Perdido Key, they've got a little park out there on the beach that needs water, you know, for the kids to drink. There's a water fountain out there, but you press the button and nothing comes out. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your leadership on this, sir. We move now to new business, and I have no new business. So we will move to board communications. I wanted to share that I have a brand-new grandbaby since we met before. My kids are, there we go, there's the baby. He was born on Halloween, and so I said, welcome to the team, Boo Campbell. Isn't he precious? Thank you, Amanda. We moved to Mrs. Benson, I believe, had 14A foiling.
Yes,
Mrs. Benson.
thank you, Madam Chair. I think we're all very excited about America's Magic and what it is going to do for this community, and I think many of us can't even fathom what a huge boon it's going to be to recreation, to tourism, to business, and so forth. And it's already beginning. There is a group that is coming in late February that is going to do foiling championships, and foiling is like sailboating, only in thin air, apparently. And they've gone into places like San Francisco and other major cities, but what they found was that Pensacola had everything that they wanted. We have the sound side that's protected and quiet water, the Gulf, which is more robust. They have the bay, and so they are going to bring in competition and all kinds of people from around the world who do foiling in the competitive atmosphere to come to Pensacola and to be in our hotels during off-season, to eat in our restaurants, and so forth. And they had this group has done a lot of this. They were involved in the Paris Olympics, and so they have a great deal of experience under their belt. But when they leave a community, rather than leaving their litter behind, they like to leave the community better off than they found it environmentally. And they have expressed an interest to team with ECUA to come up with some lasting impact on our environment. And they've suggested a few things, but they really would like us to engage in this. And ECUA will get plenty of branding opportunity from it. One thing they mentioned is they had gone to the yacht club, and the yacht club used a lot of single-use plastics for their drinks outside. And they said, we ought to change that, and we can do that. So we need to think strategically about a manageable project that may have an impact on our surface waters, or that may help with sanitation, with recycling. They're open to suggestions, and I have met with Matt Posner regarding this, and he has suggested that maybe we meet with Chips Kirschensfeld and maybe meet with the Fish House and Flounders, since their names denote this. But I would like for all of you to begin thinking about what kind of a project might be something that would be good branding for ECUA as well as this group, and to get the staff thinking as well. The turnaround time is very short, since it's going to happen the last week in February. But I think it's a wonderful opportunity for positive impact on our environment as well as the ECUA. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams?
in the, under business communication, or board communication, I wanted to say that I wanted to welcome my wife here for this occasion and say glad that she could make it. And then we wanted to offer the usual, Deborah, offer the usual holiday greetings, since no one will be here for Thanksgiving. Wishing everyone in the audience and beyond a happy and great Thanksgiving.
Thank you, sir. Stevens, did you?
So now I have to follow Mr. Williams' Thanksgiving greeting.
I didn't know.
I was hoping to follow Ms. Benson's comments about American Magic. Just to add a little bit to that, about the American Magic, huge impact on the city and our community. When they were here a couple years ago, prior to going to Spain, I was able to be really good friends with the COO of the American Magic team, and him and his family. And so there's actually going to be a wine festival. So I'm going to get with Mr. Woody on the dates so we can get the quench buggy and get that out there. But going to be a lot of opportunities to engage with that group of individuals, and hopefully do some good marketing for our city and ECUA. But they're doing a sailing regatta there actually in March, so kind of international. They're coming in, and I think it's going to be in March, April, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that, and all the good jobs in industry and ancillary businesses are going to come along with that. So
So it's going to run from January to April?
So no, it's got, well, the Wine Fest is going to be some, in March. They're firming up dates. Then that end of March, first part of April is going to be the very first, well, I mean, probably one of the largest sailing regattas we've ever had in Pensacola Bay, coming out there from all over the U.S. and internationally. So it's going to be kind of a big deal. I think they're kind of coupling that with a kind of a wine festival type of event downtown, a 3-day event downtown. So anyway, I'm just looking forward to the jobs. They're building a awesome warehouse down there right now in the Port of Pensacola with all the latest and greatest technology and research and development and for these. So anyway, exciting stuff.
Bravo.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? You know, my husband never makes it to these meetings, but my work husband made it here today. I'd like to welcome Mr. Jay Hansley, who works with me. He lives in Tallahassee, and after Hurricane Ivan, he brought a truck over to me full of stuff. And after his recent hurricane, we called him in the middle of the night and said, "We'll be there. Whatever it is, we'll be there." So we have worked together for about 20, 30 years, and I appreciate him stopping by tonight. I'd like to say to the entire staff of ECUA, to our CAC, and to my fellow board members, Happy Thanksgiving. And Mr. Perkins.
Yeah, and I know we've already done it, but it's on the next item, is kudos to staff. I would just like to say kudos to Amanda for, usually this PrimeGov software gives us all kind of trouble, but she has navigated it exceptionally well today with the changes in the agenda and everything that we've changed, and the baby picture and all. It's been seamless, and that's been enjoyable, when you're elected chair and all that stuff. I mean, it's frustrating sometimes when we get locked up in it. It's nice to see it working well. So thank you, Amanda.
If nothing further, Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thanks for staying late.
Open forum.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we do have one last open forum. And we have no pink slips and no one wanting to speak. So we are adjourned.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
you want to entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
My favorite part.
Thank you. Second? Somebody second. Perkins, Mr. Perkins, thank you. We are, and vote.